afternoon, and welcome to this, the 7th of 10 debates presented by the City Club of Cleveland in this very important 2008 election cycle. I'm Jim Foster, Executive Director of the City Club. The City Club has a long and proud history of hosting debates for public office. Whether the race is perceived by the pollsters to be close, or whether the pundits consider it high profile, the City Club of Cleveland provides an opportunity for those interested in their government to learn more about the issues and the candidates. And here at the City Club, we go face to face, in person and in depth. And yes, you, the audience, and voters will get to ask the questions. Many thanks to those of you who are here and those watching and listening to our podcasts and webcasts and WVIZ TV and 90.3 WCPN. 60 minutes will go by very quickly, so let's proceed. We're delighted to have 90.3's Dan Moulthrop as our moderator for today's debate. Dan is the founding host of The Sound of Ideas, which airs weekday mornings at 9. He joined IdeaStream in 2005 as WCPN's local anchor of the morning edition, and earlier in his career he lived in San Francisco, where he worked on print, television, and video projects. Dan holds a master's degree in journalism from the University of California at Berkeley, and before turning to journalism, he taught English at San Lorenzo High School. Dan was just named by Cleveland Scene as the best local radio host. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much, Jim. Thanks all of you for joining us today, both here at the City Club and on 90.3 and this evening on WVIZ PBS. It's a real pleasure and an honor to moderate this debate for the 13th Congressional District. Of all the issues in this race, infrastructure, the bailout, jobs in the economy, healthcare reform, there is none more important than this very simple issue. Who will be the most effective representative of the people of the 13th Congressional District, the people of Lorain and Elyria and Avon Lake, of Strongsville and Brecksville and Richfield, the people of Akron and Cuyahoga Falls? Who will be best to, along with 434 other congressional representatives, work with or check the power of the next President of the United States? That's the issue. That's what we're here to determine today. So let's get to the rules. The rules for the opening portion of this debate are pretty simple. Each candidate has a total of 10 minutes for both an opening statement and a rebuttal to their opponent's opening statement. It is their choice as to how they will divide their time. We'll hear from each of the candidates twice in this coming segment, opening statements from each, then rebuttals by each, with a total time limit of 10 minutes. After the opening and rebuttal, we will move to questions from all of you, and then there will be one closing question for the candidates. The candidates are Republican candidate David S. Potter, a graduate of Ball State University, who has worked in the healthcare industry for more than 20 years. And the Democratic candidate in this race, Betty Sutton, the incumbent Congresswoman. Betty has served in the Barberton City Council, the Summit County Council, and as an Ohio State representative. She was elected to the U.S. Congress in 2006. We're very pleased to welcome all of you here and both of you here, and I know that many of you support one or the other candidate. We do caution you that excessive cheering is going to be docked from your candidate's time, so be careful with how you do that. The order of presentation was determined by a drawing a few minutes before we came out here. Mr. Potter will present first. David Potter.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to attend here at the Cleveland City Club. Thank you, Congresswoman Sutton, for agreeing to debate with me today. Guests, I see some young folks in the audience. It's great to see people participating in the process, and for any veterans that are out there, welcome. If it weren't for the good, fine men and women that have fought to preserve the right to vote on November 4th, none of us would be here, and so you're to be commended. My name is Dave Potter. I come from Strongsville. I'd like to introduce my wife, Annette Potter, who's down here with me today. I've never held elected office, and that to me is one of the greatest strengths and qualities that I have coming before you, the voters, today, as well as the voters that are watching on the television at home. In 10 minutes, it's awfully difficult to give a great biography as well as to discuss the many issues facing our country at this time. But I think it's very important to contrast myself, or actually draw some comparisons to myself with the Congresswoman, because many people do believe, conventionally speaking, we do need to have people that have held elected office to represent us, and that's simply not the case. We need people that are thoughtful thinkers. We need people that are, believe in family, believe in American values. And having said that, the Congresswoman and I are not too far apart in age. I'm actually a little bit older than her, unfortunately. We grew up in humble beginnings in rural America. She's from Barberton. I'm from the Indianapolis, Indiana area. Both had loving siblings and loving parents. We both attended public schools, so we have a similar education level. We both went to Mid-American Conference schools. For those of you who are from the MAC, I'm very proud to be from the MAC. Ball State University. I know the Congresswoman went to Kent State University. She then went on to law school, and I chose to immediately go out to the private sector. Somewhere along the line in our growing up, whether it was at a very, very young, tender age or once we made it into college or beyond, we obviously formed opinions and philosophies of how government should work in our lives. I truly believe that the Congresswoman, as well thought out as she is, I believe that she thinks government is the answer to all of our problems every day as citizens of this country and citizens of the 13th District. I myself do not believe that's the case. I believe in rugged individualism. I believe in less government intrusion. I believe in the democracy this country was founded on, but more importantly, I believe in the republic that we live in. The republic that we all make choices. The republic that sometimes allows us to make poor choices that we have to pay for, and the ones that allow us to make good choices that we turn out to do very, very well with, and we should be pleased with and grateful for the choices that we make. Therefore, as we get into some of the issues today, I think it will be very important to think about what type of government do you want representing you? Do you want someone who believes in big government? Lots of entitlement programs, someone that believes we have to help others that aren't willing to try to help themselves? Or do you want someone that believes in limited government, that believes from their Christian background we should instill people to help others through our basic value system, but that we should not be ashamed of the growth and treasures that we all experience in our everyday lives? So those are the two clear choices. I come from the healthcare industry. I've worked for so many medical device companies. I've provided therapy consultant services for numerous physicians, surgeons, hospital management. I have an understanding of healthcare, but interestingly enough, as we speak today, one of the biggest issues we have is what's going on economically here in northeastern Ohio. And I look forward to answering your questions today, as well as discussing some other matters when I come back up to take the stand. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dave. Now we'll have opening remarks from Congresswoman Sutton.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to be here at the City Club. I thank you so much for holding this forum here today and for the forums that you hold throughout the year to help get issues of importance in our communities discussed and out there for consideration. I want to thank all of you who are here in attendance today. Thank you for taking time out this 1 week before an election to attend this forum. We appreciate your attention to the issues. It's such a vital and critical election. You're all to be commended. And to our listeners out there who may not be with us in person here today, I thank you for listening and look forward to hopefully talking to you all about the issues that we have faced and we are facing in the future. It's been my privilege to represent the people of the 13th Congressional District for the last 2 years in Congress. Well, almost 2 years in Congress. And we've made some progress on some very important issues, but we all know that we're still facing many challenges. When I first ran for Congress 2 years ago, maybe some of you were here for that debate, and I talked a lot about the need to clean up the corruption that had been running rampant in Congress. I'm happy to report that on the very first day that I was sworn into the U.S. House of Representatives, I was on the House floor and we were changing the rules by which Congress played to cut off the K Street project that for far too long had been used by lobbyists to influence legislators that produced policy that hurt our country and the people here, both in spirit and in practical application. But we also know that one attempt at curbing corruption does not do the job.